I think that internet is important for Africa because if you look at the world today, the 21st century economy is a digital economy. To give you an example, the biggest accommodation business, or the biggest taxi business does not own any cars. And we are accelerating towards a digital economy. And that's the 21st century economy. But the problem is we leave a lot of people behind. If you look at the data, over 3 billion people in the world today cannot afford to be in the internet. They cannot afford to connect to the internet or participate in this digital economy as a consequence. And if you look at the data in my continent of Africa, it's 800 million people who are excluded. And if you look at my country in Kenya, only 10% to 15% can afford to be online. Yet Africa is the biggest smartphone market in the world. And so then we are creating inequality, and that's a problem. If I use my life as an example, for example, I grew up with one parent, and she couldn't pay for me to go to a college education, coming from a fairly rough part of the country, of the city of Nairobi. And through working with computers by chance and through the internet, I was able to learn. I am a fairly, in my country's term, fairly successful human-centered design. I didn't go to any human-centered design schools. It's all because I had access to people who were kind to me and access to the internet that I was able to learn, and I keep learning today. And without the internet, that would not be possible. With the traditional infrastructure where you need thousands of euros to go to formal education, I'm just one example of many young people in Africa who are able to develop their skills, build businesses, and build solutions for themselves just because there's access to technology and the internet. And I think for emerging markets in Africa, the internet is more important because of this, because of lack of access and the necessity. It's, in my view, actually a basic need. When you look at the problem of accessing the internet, a lot of people think it's an infrastructure problem. They think we need to build more cables, they think we need to have more satellites, but when you look at the data, actually affordability is the biggest problem. Even when there is infrastructure, a lot of people cannot pay for the data bundles. A lot of people have to think, do I buy food or do I buy data bundles? And I think this challenge, while it's not very common in Europe and the West, is a reality in Africa. And so the question we ask ourselves is it accessible when you have cables, but then you have to pay a mobile service operator half of your day's income to access the internet? And so the issue then becomes not infrastructure, but the cost of the internet. And so our solution, as we talk to people closest to the problem, is to ask, can we make the internet free? Can we actually make it accessible by making it so that people don't have to pay money to access the internet? And do that as a business model without having to rely on charity. And so we came up with a model, and we didn't rely on hardware that comes from China or solutions that comes from the West. We actually designed our own hardware that responds to the need of dust, heat, and tough environment where we come from. And we also came up with a business model where you can access internet for free without having to pay your money. You pay with your attention, not with your pocket. And what that means is that when you go, for example, we've installed this in neighborhoods and in public transport vehicles. And the way it works is you get into the public transport vehicle, where on average people spend 4 hours of their day in traffic. While you are there, you see a Wi-Fi signal and you connect to it. It'll expect you to do some digital work as payment, quote unquote, with your attention, so to access the internet. What that means is, for example, you want to understand, or the World Health Organization wants to understand how many people are washing their hands. They come to us, we put their survey in the platform, and we say, oh, you want to access the internet? Please answer these 2 questions. And then you get points, and this point system allows you to use your points either to go to the internet, and now we're exploring this digital economy to even go to more pertinent issues where a mom can buy health insurance using their points. And I think we are expanding this. The youth who I work with a lot are saying we just want to find jobs. So we are collaborating with job platforms to put jobs every morning, what jobs are available, so they can develop their skills, they can find jobs, they can access the internet, and basically have agency over their own lives. And I think this is probably the most serious problem for the 21st century. How can we connect those who are unconnected? So we found a solution that is made in Africa for Africans to actually find ways to connect people to the internet. Right now, as we speak today, we have over 700,000 people this month who are able to go to the internet thanks to our platform. There's many books that have changed my life, but I think if I take a theme, learning and practicing human-centered design has changed my life.